Good evening. I am Laura, and this is the task 2 for the course Colombian Education. And the title for this task is Adopting a Critical Position Toward Bilingualism. As I said, I am Laura Rosillo Bello, and I belong to Seattle in Kira, and I am in the Bachelor in Degree Foreign Language program. Okay, for this activity, we have a statement. Um, and now we are going to talk about this statement. Okay, here you have. Um, the statement is particularly Spanish English bilingualism has been prevalent. This is seen as providing access to a highly visible, socially accepted form of bilingualism, leading to the possibility employment at the global marketplace. In contrast, bilingualism in minority Amerindian or Creole languages has been generally undervalued and associated with an invisible form of bilingualism related to underdevelopment, poverty, and backwardness. Okay, let me see. Now, I'm going to talk about bilingualism. Um, In reference to the statement, we can discuss the following. Munoz, quoted by Anne-Marie de Mejia in her article Bilingual Education in Colombia, towards a recognition of languages, cultures, and identities, mentions that bilingualism is an active process of communication and interaction between cultures for mutual enrichment, for which we understand that the objective of introducing in the curricula of most schools in Colombia, mainly or in official or public education, is wrong since it seeks to generate in students a commercial and labor thinking rather than the meaning of the values. Okay, continue. Identity. When speaking of identity, we recognize the fear that some people have of losing or altering their identity, especially children who are in the process of building their identity. Small communities where a language at risk of disappearing is trying to survive are an example to identity conservation. Okay, identity can be seen as socially constructed in the case of bilinguals, as they inhabit different language communities. They often receive very different self-image from various cultural mirrors. Okay, now Colombia is a multilingual country where there are about 65 indigenous languages, two Creole languages, and Spanish. And Spanish is the majority language in this country. However, the latter is spoken in most of the Colombia territory. Therefore, Spanish, which is the majority language in the country, has left aside the teaching of mother tongues or indigenous and Creole languages. Educational institutions have adopted the teaching of English because they believe that it's the only way for the country to get out of underdevelopment. And they have turned to being more competitive in the labor field rather than investing in the teaching of values. Now, we are going to talk about the question. This question is in the activity wide. How far bilingual education programs for majority language speakers in Colombia today are actively helping towards the creation of a more understanding, more tolerant society, and not only providing a way to better jobs and a higher standard of living for the graduates. Okay, teachers need to be sensitive to the cultural implications of what they are teaching. Values such as equity have disappeared from the moment we observe how bilingual education in private educational institutions tends to be of higher quality than in public institutions. We are thinking about lowering poverty levels in the country by improving education, but we are losing the value based approach that education needs to initiate the change we all want. Okay, values. As teachers, we must, from our teaching area, instill in our students the respect for the different languages spoken in our country and the importance they represent for us as a multicultural country. The disappearance of any of these languages implies the loss of a community, culture, tradition, among others. Okay, thank you so much. That's all for today.